There comes a moment in every life when the lights fade, the noise disappears, and you're left alone with the echo of your own doubts. It's that moment when the world feels cold, when the people who once cheered have gone silent, and the road ahead looks longer than it ever has before. You've given everything, the effort, the time, the heart, and yet it still feels like it wasn't enough. That's the moment when most people start to question everything. They question their purpose, their strength, even their reason for standing up again. But those moments, those silent, brutal, unforgiving moments, they are not there to destroy you. They are there to reveal you. The truth is, greatness doesn't emerge from comfort. It doesn't rise from a place of ease or certainty. Greatness is born in chaos. It is built in the storm, molded by pressure, and refined through pain. Every champion you've ever heard of, every soul who has risen above failure, has stood exactly where you stand, on the G-E of giving up. They felt the same exhaustion, the same frustration, the same burning question: is this worth it? And here's the answer: yes, it is, always is, because the fire inside you, that unrelenting spark that refuses to die, was never meant to be ordinary. It was meant to endure. It was meant to rise above every defeat, every doubt, every fear that tries to silence it. That fire is not something you find, it's something you fight for. You see, life doesn't hand over victories to the deserving. It rewards the relentless, the ones who keep moving when their legs tremble, the ones who keep believing when their minds scream to quit, the ones who understand that pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Every failure, every heartbreak, every rejection has been shaping you, teaching you, and pushing you toward the version of yourself that you are destined to become. So when you feel like breaking, when the weight of the world presses down on your chest and you can barely breathe, remember, this is the test. This is where the weak turn away and the strong rise. You can either surrender to the pressure or use it to ignite your strength. You can either let the pain bury you or let it burn away everything that's holding you back. The fire within you doesn't need validation. It doesn't need applause. It only needs one thing: your belief. Because when you believe, when you commit to rising, no matter how many times you fall, the world eventually bends in your favor. Every ounce of struggle becomes fuel. Every tear becomes a reminder. Every scar becomes a story, not of defeat, but of survival. There's a power inside you that you've barely begun to understand. It's the power that whispers, keep going, when everything around you says stop. It's the power that pushes you through the pain, that drags you out of the dirt, that refuses to let failure define you. That power isn't given, it's earned. It's built in the dark, where no one sees the work, where no one claps, where the only voice that matters is the one inside saying, get up, bro. Because here's the truth: success doesn't come from never falling. It comes from never staying down. It comes from the courage to face your fears, to confront your failures, and to stand back up stronger every single time. Every setback carries a lesson. Every obstacle hides an opportunity. And every ending can be the start of something greater if you refuse to quit. This world doesn't need more people who had it easy. It needs more people who refuse to surrender. People who took their pain and turned it into power. People who looked at the impossible and said, watch me, watch what separates. That's the fire within. That's what separates ordinary from the unstoppable. It's not talent, not luck, not timing. It's resilience. It's the decision made quietly in the depths of your soul that no matter what happens, you will not break. So when life hits, when failure stares you down, when you feel the world closing in, don't run, don't hide, stand in the fire. Let it burn away your fears, your excuses, your doubts. Because what's left after the fire is pure. What's left is unshakable. What's left is you, stronger, wiser, and ready for the next fight. You have within you everything it takes to rise, to rebuild, to reignite. The fire inside is waiting for you to trust it, to feed it, to unleash it. So rise up, embrace the storm, feel the burn. Because that fire is not your weakness, it's your weapon. And when you learn to use it, nothing, no failure, no fear, no setback can ever stop you again. Failure, it's a word that cuts deep. Sharper than rejection, heavier than disappointment. It lingers. It whispers when you're alone. It echoes in your thoughts when you close your eyes. Failure doesn't just bruise your pride, it bruises your spirit. It makes you question everything, your decisions, your strength, even your worth. It creeps into your heart and convinces you that maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you were never meant to make it. Maybe this dream was too big for you. But listen closely. Failure is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your awakening. It is the moment life strips away your illusions and asks, how much do you really want it? Because defeat has a purpose. It humbles the proud. It awakens the complacent. It separates those who chase comfort from those who chase greatness. The weight of defeat can crush the weak, but it can also strengthen the determined. It all depends on how you carry it. Some wear failure like chains, others forge it into armor. The difference isn't in what happens, it's in how you respond. When you fail, the world sees only the fall. They don't see the struggle before it. They don't see the sleepless nights, the quiet tears, the battles no one talks about. They see a moment of defeat and think it defines you. But failure doesn't define character. Response does. You can let it break you, or you can let T build you. You can bury yourself in regret, or you can rise from the wreckage and build something stronger than before. Every failure holds a lesson, and those lessons are priceless. They teach what success never could. Success can make you comfortable, but failure makes you capable. Success can fill your head, but failure fills your heart. Success can make you believe you've arrived, but failure reminds you there's more to learn, more to fight for, more to become. And yes, failure hurts. It's supposed to. Pain is proof that you tried, that you cared enough to put your heart into something. The only people who never fail are the ones who never step outside their comfort zone. The ones who live safe, quiet lives, never risking enough to lose and never daring enough to grow. You, on the other hand, stepped into the arena. You fought, you tried, you gave something of yourself to a dream. That's courage, that's power. So don't curse the fall, study it. Don't hide from defeat, leer and from it. Because every time you fall, you learn where the ground is. You learn how to balance, how to brace, how to rise faster and stronger than before. Each fall sharpens you. Each loss refines you. Each failure toughens the spirit and teaches the hands to hold tighter next time. Defeat is not a signal to stop. It's a call to evolve. It's life saying, you're not done yet. When everything collapses, that's when you see what you're really made of. When the plan falls apart, when the people you counted on disappear, when nothing goes as expected, that's when the truth comes out. The truth of who you are, the truth of what you're willing to do when comfort is gone. Some will run from that truth. They'll surrender to failure, letting it define their lives. But the few, the rare few, will use that truth as fuel. They'll stand up, wipe away the dust and say, this isn't how my story ends. They'll turn failure into foundation, pain into purpose, and regret into rebirth. Defeat is not a dead end, it's a detour. It's a redirection toward what you're truly meant to become. The dream hasn't died, it's being refined. The path hasn't disappeared, it's being rebuilt. What you lost was never the point. What you become because of the loss is. The weight of defeat can feel unbearable. It can crush your chest and steal your breath. But if you stand under it long enough, if you refuse to bow, it becomes the very thing that strengthens you. Just like the weight a bodybuilder lifts, it's the resistance that creates growth. Every failure adds weight, and every time you push back, you grow stronger. too. So don't run from the weight. Carry it, own it. Let it mold you into someone who can't be shaken by the next storm. Let it teach you how to stand taller, how to dig deeper, how to fight smarter. Because failure will visit you again, and when it does, you'll look it in the eyes and say, I've been here before, and I'm still standing. That's what rising above failure truly means. Not avoiding it, not denying it, but mastering it. You don't have to erase the scars. You don't have to forget the pain. You only have to understand what it taught you. That no defeat can destroy a spirit that refuses to quit. So stand tall, embrace the weight. Let failure sit on your shoulders, but never on your soul. Because the ones who carry defeat and keep walking, they are the ones who will one day rise. Not despite their failures, but because of them. Pain, It's the most misunderstood force in life. People run from it, hide from it, deny it, drown it out with distractions and noise. But the truth is, pain is not the enemy. Pain is the messenger. It's life's way of saying, wake up, pay attention. Something within you needs to grow. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has known pain. Not just physical, but emotional, mental, and spiritual pain. The pain of loss, the pain of failure, the pain of being misunderstood, the pain of standing alone. It's through thought, T-pain, that strength is built. Because without pain, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no strength. Without resistance, there is no resilience. Pain strips away the illusion of who you think you are and shows you who you really are. When everything feels easy, you don't learn, you don't stretch, you don't evolve. But when life hurts, when your heart breaks, when your body aches, when your spirit feels exhausted, that's when the real transformation begins. Because pain has a purpose. It pushes you towards your potential. Most people view pain as punishment, but pain is preparation. It's shaping you, hardening your resolve, refining your character. Every tear you've shed, every night you've spent questioning yourself, every time you've had to start over, all of it was molding you into something more powerful than you could imagine. Pain is the forge of greatness. Just as fire refines gold, pain refines the soul. You can't have one without the other. You can't have victory without struggle. You can't have strength without scars. Every wound carries wisdom. Every scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of endurance. When pain comes, most people ask, why me? But the question should be, what is this trying to teach me? Because pain always teaches. It teaches patience when things fall apart. It teaches humility when pride takes over. It teaches empathy when you see others suffer. It teaches appreciation when comfort returns. Pain doesn't come to destroy, it comes to develop. You see, pain is not a wall, it's a doorway. But only those willing to walk through it ever find what's on the other side. The others stop at the threshold, afraid of what it might cost. But those who walk through discover something extraordinary. They find themselves. They realize they are stronger than they ever believed. They realize the pain that once threatened to break them was actually the tool that built them. When you stop fearing pain, you start owning your life. Because pain will come again and again in different shapes from different directions. You can't avoid it, but you can decide how to respond. You can let it close you off, or you can let it open you up. You can let it make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. The choice is always yours. And there's something beautiful that happens when you learn to embrace it. When you stop running and start listening, pain becomes power. It becomes fuel. It becomes the fire that drives you when motivation fades. Because the truth is, motivation is temporary. It burns fast and fades quick. But purpose born out of pain lasts forever. When you suffered, when you've lost, when you've bled for something, that's when you find a reason to fight that no setback can extinguish. There's a unique strength that only those who've known pain carry. It's the quiet confidence of someone who has been to the bottom and found a way back up. It's the calm in their eyes when the world shakes. Because have already faced storms that would have drowned most people. They don't break anymore because pain taught them how to bend. So the next time life hits, don't curse the pain. Don't resist it. Lean into it. Feel it. Understand it. Because the more you run from pain, the more power it gains over you. But the moment you face it, the moment you say, I will not run, it loses its control. Pain cannot defeat the one who embraces it. Every great story, every powerful comeback, every legendary journey, they all began with pain. But the difference between those who stay broken and those who rise is simple. The ones who rise decide that pain will not be wasted. They take the suffering, the setbacks, the losses, and they turn them into strength, wisdom, and drive. They use pain as a compass, guiding them toward who they were meant to become. You cannot live a life of meaning and avoid pain. You cannot pursue greatness. Expect comfort. The road to something extraordinary will always pass through the valley of pain. But when you walk through it with courage, when you let it sharpen you instead of shatter you, you come out on the other side transformed, more focused, more fearless, more unbreakable. Eberker, because pain doesn't come to end you. It comes to remind you that you're still alive, still fighting, still capable of more. The power of pain isn't in what it takes from you. It's in what it gives you if you're willing to endure it. So let pain do its work. Let it teach. Let it strengthen. Let it carve out the weakness and reveal the warrior beneath. Because when you learn to use pain as fuel, you'll realize it's not your curse. It's your calling. And from that moment on, nothing in this world will ever have the power to stop you again. There will come days when the fire fades. Days when the drive you once felt so vividly feels like a distant memory. Days when getting out of bed feels heavier than lifting mountains. When your heart feels empty and your mind whisper, what's the point? Those days are not signs of weakness. They are tests. They are the crossroads where emotion ends and discipline begins. Emotion is a wave, powerful, unpredictable, and temporary. It rises high, giving you a rush of energy and purpose, and then it crashes, leaving you stranded in silence. If you rely on emotion to carry you forward, you will live your life starting and stopping, burning and fading, building and breaking. Emotion gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, between dreams and reality. When you rely on emotion, you'll move only when you feel like it. But when you rely on discipline, you'll move even when every part of you screams to stop. That's the difference between those who wish and those who win. The ones who win don't wait for the perfect feeling. They act in spite of the lack of it. There's power in doing what must be done, especially when you don't want to do it, because that's where growth hides. In the uncomfortable, the unexciting, the unseen moments of effort. Every morning, you choose action over excuses. You strengthen your will. Every time you show up when it would have been easier to stay down, you forge your mind into something unbreakable. Discipline is not glamorous. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's built in the small, invisible acts that no one claps for. But it is those very acts that build the foundation of greatness. The body you dream of, the career you desire, the purpose you want to fulfill. They are not built in bursts of excitement. They are built in consistency, in showing up on the days when you don't feel ready, in doing what others won't so that one day you can live how others can't. Oh, the truth is, emotion is easy. It's impulsive. It loves the thrill of the beginning, the first workout, the first victory, the first praise. But when the noise fades and the applause stops, emotion disappears. That's when discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't ask, do you feel like it? It simply says, do it anyway. You can't control your emotions, but you can control your actions. You can't control weather. Feel tired, sad, frustrated, or unmotivated, but you can control whether you show up. To the routine. Yes, to the challenge. It grows when you do the work, even when no one is watching. When you practice patience while the results take time. When you keep faith, even when progress feels invisible. That's when discipline transforms from something you do into something you are. The ones who master discipline no longer chase motivation. They become the motivation. Their actions speak louder than their moods. Their habits become stronger than their doubts. They move not because they feel like it, but because it's who they are now. Consistent, committed, relentless. And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Dreamers wait for the right moment. Doers create it. Dreamers talk about how they'll start when they feel ready. Doers start now and adjust along the way. Dreamers rely on comfort. Doers rely on consistency. Because discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about refusing to stop no matter how you feel. Hebrew, you don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't even need to be the most motivated. You just need to be disciplined, because discipline will take you places that motivation never could. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going when motivation has run out. So when your emotions rise and fall like tides, anchor yourself to discipline. When your mind says, not today, let your will answer. Today is the day. When you feel tired, Let your purpose remind you why you started. When you feel weak, let your discipline move your feet forward one step at a time. Because at the end of the day, emotion is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Emotion fades, but discipline builds. Emotion forgets the goal. When the pain comes, discipline remembers. Emotion looks for a reason to quit. Discipline finds a reason to keep going. You may not always have control over how you feel, but you always have control over what you do next. And that simple truth, that single decisio, in, is what separates average from exceptional, weak from strong, temporary from timeless. So when the emotions fade, when the motivation disappears, when the excitement burns out, don't stop, keep going. Because those are the moments when greatness is born. The world doesn't reward those who start strong, it rewards those who finish strong. And only discipline, quiet, relentless, unwavering discipline can carry you to the finish line. The greatest battle you will ever fight will not be against another person. It will not be against the world or the system or your circumstances. The greatest battle you will ever fight is the one that happens inside you. The battle between the voice that says, I can, and the one that whispers, I can't. It's the quiet war that takes place in your mind every single day, in every decision, in every moment you face resistance. The blurry enemy within you is not visible. It has no face, no name, no weapon, but it's relentless. It shows up as doubt, fear, hesitation, and insecurity. It tells you to take the easy path, to settle for less, to give up when things get hard. It convinces you that you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that your time has passed. It feeds off your failures and fuels your fears. And if you let it, it will control you completely. But here's the truth. The battle within is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to define you. That conflict, that struggle between weakness and strength, between doubt and belief, between quitting and continuing, is what shapes your character. It's what separates the ones who surrender from the ones who rise. Every day you wake up to a choice. Which voice will you listen to? The one that wants comfort, or the one that demands growth? The one that wants to be liked, or the one that wants to be legendary? The one that says, take it easy, or the one that says, push harder? That choice determines everything. The battle within is fought in silence. No one sees it, but it's third. E, in the decision to get up early, to stay disciplined, to train, to study, to show up when your body screams for rest. It's in those moments when no one is watching, no one is cheering, no one will ever know what it took except you. Because you're not fighting for their approval. You're fighting for control over your own mind. Most people lose that battle long before they lose in the world. They lose it in their thoughts. They lose it in the quiet moments when fear whispers, you're not enough, and they believe it. But the strong, the resilient, the unbreakable, they hear that same voice and answer, watch me. They don't silence the doubt by pretending it doesn't exist. They silence it with action. Every step, every rep, every late night, every early morning, it's all part of the fight. You cannot control the world around you, but you can master the world within you. You can choose what thoughts to feed, what voices to obey, what limits to accept. The mind is the battlefield. D, and your thoughts are the weapons. If you feed your fear, it grows. If you feed your strength, it dominates. Whatever you nurture inside will become your reality outside. Hey, bro. That's why mental discipline is everything. You have to train your mind the same way you train your body, through repetition, resistance, and resolve. When negativity comes, you counter it with truth. When weakness rises, you respond with action. When doubt creeps in, you remind yourself of how far you've already come, because you fought too many battles to let the next one defeat you. Reawaken, and understand this, the battle never truly ends. It's not a single fight. It's a lifelong war. Every new level of life brings a new layer of resistance. Every victory invites a new test. Every season of peace prepares you for another challenge. But if you stay ready, if you keep your spirit sharpened and your will steady, you'll never fear the fight. You'll welcome it, because you'll know that every battle within makes you stronger, smarter, and more unshakable. It's not about winning once. It's about winning daily. winning in the small choices, winning in the unseen moments, winning when no one gives you credit. Every time you say no to temptation, no to laziness, no to quitting, you win. Every time you say yes to perseverance, yes to patience, yes to your purpose, you win again. And over time, those small victories build a mindset that cannot be defeated. You won't always feel strong, but you can always choose strength. You won't always feel brave, but you can always act with courage. Because the battle within is not about being fearless. It's about moving forward even when fear is present. It's not about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. The truth is, the enemy inside you will always whisper. It will always try to convince you to stop, to play small, to stay safe. But the warrior within you, that fire, that will, that relentless drive, will always have the final say, I. Few choose to let it. You are not your fear. You are not your failures. You are not your doubts. You are the strength that rises to face them. You are the resilience that fights back. You are the will that refuses to quit. So the next time that voice tells you it's too hard, too late, too far, answer it with action. Answer it with persistence. Answer it with everything inside you that refuses to settle. Because the battle within doesn't end when you silence the voice. It ends when the voice no longer controls your steps. And when you win that battle, when your mind finally bows to your will, nothing in this world can stop you. Because the strongest person alive is not the one who conquered others, but the one who conquered themselves. There will be moments when life will collapse right in front of you, when everything you've worked for crumbles, when the plans you made with such precision fall apart in silence. It's in those moments that most people break because no one teaches you how to rebuild when your world feels like ashes. No one tells you how to stand when your strength is gone. But that's exactly when your true power begins to rise. Not in the glory of success, but in the quiet decision to rebuild. When the storm hits, it's natural to want to hide, to wait for it to pass. But the truth is, storms don't come to destroy what's real. They come to clear what's weak. They strip away what no longer serves you, what no longer belongs in your future. And when the clouds finally break, you're left with the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. That's the foundation on which you rebuild. Rising again after being broken isn't about pretending everything is fine. Ending isn't an event. It's a process. It's slow, it's painful, and it demands patience. But every brick you lay, every day you keep moving, is proof that your spirit is stronger than your circumstances. You don't rebuild with perfection. You rebuild with perseverance. You rise not because it's easy, but because giving up is not an option. When everything falls apart, that's not the end. It's an invitation. Life is saying, start again, but this time build stronger. This time build with wisdom instead of impulse, with purpose instead of pride, with faith instead of fear. The pain that broke you also gave you new tools, perspective, endurance, humility. Use them, because what you rebuild after the fall will be far more powerful than what you had before it. You are not defined by what you've lost. You are defined by how you rise after losing it. Every great comeback begins with a collapse. Every hero has faced defeat. Every fighter has been knocked down. The difference between those who stay down and those who rise is not luck, it's choice. The choice to look at the ruins and say, this is not where my story ends. You may not be where you want to be right now. You may still feel broken, still feel tired, still feel unsure. But that's okay. Strength isn't about being unshaken. It's about shaking, falling, and still standing back up, even when the world doesn't believe in you, even when no one's watching, even when you don't see progress yet. Because rebuilding isn't about speed, it's about resilience. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived something meant to destroy you. Every wound that's healing is a reminder that you're still alive, still fighting, still capable of creating again. You're not the same person you were before the fall, and that's a good thing. You're wiser now. You're tougher. You understand that the ground you walk on can collapse at any moment. but you also know that you can rise again no matter how many times it does. You rise after being broken, you rise differently. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing judgment. You stop waiting for permission because you've already faced the worst and you're still here. That's real power. That's real freedom. Nothing can intimidate a soul that has rebuilt itself from ruins. The process of rebuilding teaches you one of life's most sacred truths. Strength isn't something you find. It's something you create. It's born out of struggle. It's forged in adversity. It's earned through every sleepless night, every tear, every time you said, I can't do this, but did it anyway. So if you've fallen, if everything feels broken right now, don't despair. You're not buried, you're planted. And like anything planted in the dark, your time to rise is coming. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow. But every step you take, every breath you draw, every effort you make is part of the rebuilding. The world may only see the surface, the smile, the progress, he recovering. But deep down, you know what it took. You know the nights you fought through, the moments you almost gave up, the pieces you had to put back together alone. That's what makes the rise sacred. That's what makes the rebuild meaningful. And when you finally stand again, when you look around and realize that you've built something stronger, wiser, more unshakable than before, you'll understand that the storm wasn't your punishment. It was your preparation. It was never there to destroy you. It was there to strengthen your foundation so that the next time life hits, you won't just survive, you'll rise even higher. So stand tall, take a breath, look at what's been lost, and then decide to rebuild anyway. Because every time you rise from the ashes, you prove to the world and to yourself that nothing can break a soul that refuses to stay down. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your comeback. Keep birth, rise, rebuild, repeat. As many times as it aches. Because every fall is just another chance to stand taller than before. Now is your moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when things feel perfect. Now. This is the moment that separates those who dream from those who do. This is the moment when you stop talking about what you could be and start becoming what you were meant to be. Because everything you face, every heartbreak, every fall, every ounce of pain has brought you here. It has prepared you for this exact moment. You've been tested, broken, and rebuilt for a reason. The storms you thought would destroy you were only shaping you for the climb ahead. And now it's time to rise. It's time to fight. E-burst for you. You don't need another sign. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to tell you that you're ready. You've already survived more than most people ever will. You've already proven your strength by standing through everything that tried to take you down. So what are you waiting for? The world doesn't owe you an understanding. It doesn't owe you an easy path. Life will never hand you success. It will hand you opportunities disguised as challenges, disguised as failures, disguised as pain. But if you keep fighting, if you keep showing up when most people walk away, you will discover what few ever do, the power of persistence. Because fighting isn't about anger or aggression. It's about endurance. It's about saying, I will not stop. It's about refusing to surrender no matter how many times you fall, no matter how heavy the burden gets, no matter how far away the finish line seems. The fight is not outside of you, it's within you. And as long as you keep fighting there, no one can defeat you. There will be days when it feels impossible, days when your faith feels thin, your energy runs out, and your hope flickers like a dying flame. On those days, remember this, the fire doesn't go out because it's small. It goes out because it's neglected. Feed your fire. Protect it, even if all you can. Do is whisper, not yet. Even if all you can do is take one more step, one more breath, one more swing. Because sometimes survival itself is victory. Hey, brother, you may not win every battle. You may stumble. You may fail again and again. But that's not weakness. That's humanity. True strength is not in never falling. It's in never staying down. It's in looking at defeat, looking at the scars, looking at everything you've lost and saying, I'm not done yet. Keep fighting, not just for what you want, but for who you're becoming, because every struggle is shaping you. Every obstacle is strengthening you. Every setback is setting you up for a greater comeback. You are not who you were yesterday. You're evolving, growing, hardening in the fire. You're becoming something that cannot be broken because you've already survived what should have. And when the world tells you that you can't, that it's too late, too hard, too far, let that be your signal to push harder. Let doubt fuel your drive. Let fear remind you of what's at stake. Because the only thing worse than failing is living the rest of your life wondering what would have happened if you had just kept going. You owe it to yourself to finish the fight, to see what's on the other side of struggle, to see what happens when you refuse to give up. Because the truth is, there's always more in you, more strength, more resilience, more fire waiting to be unleashed. The only way to find it is to keep moving forward. Every great story in history was written by someone who refused to stop when everything went dark. Every breakthrough, every victory, every triumph was born from a soul that said, I will keep fighting. And now it's your turn. You've come too far to quit now. You've endured too much to walk away. You've been through the fire and you're still standing. That means you're not finished. You're just getting started. So rise again. Stand tall, straighten your back. Look the world in the eye and declare, I'm still here. Because that's what warriors do. They keep showing up. They keep fighting when the odds are stacked, when the pain is heavy, when the path is unclear. They fight not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. This is your call, your moment, your battle. Don't waste another second waiting for life to get easier. You were not built for easy. You were built for endurance. You were built to rise, to overcome, to inspire, to lead. Keep fighting for your purpose, for your promise, for the life that's waiting on the other side of pain. Keep fighting until your fear turns to fuel, until your scars turn to strength, until your struggle turns to victory. Keep fighting, not because the road is short, but because the destination is worth it. And when it's all said and done, when you stand on the other side of every storm, you will look back and realize you were never fighting to prove something to the world. You were fighting to prove something to yourself, that you could, that you did, that you never gave up. So breathe, focus, lock in. The fight isn't over. It's just beginning. And this time you're ready. Oh, burst. Now go and keep fighting.